Alright, what's up yins guys? This video is going to be a companion to my other video, which was also called The Idiocy of Speaking in Tongues, and that, so this one I want to make sure that I'm in the camera good so my smirk can be properly seen here. You know what I mean? But the reason for this video is pretty much, it's a video of Defiance. I've gotten an email. They didn't have the guts to really make it any kind of comment on the YouTube video or anything, my video, but I've deleted the email. I thought I cut and pasted a copy of it because I wanted to read it to you, so you guys are just gonna have to take my word for it. And I've read it, but I was also told in the video in the beginning that my voice in my videos was very droning and boring, and they didn't finish the whole video. That's the humor of this, okay, if you're with me so far. Okay, sometimes I'm busting out in a little bit of laughter. I don't want to lose you guys with too much jibber-jabber. Yeah, maybe my voice is a little bit boring and droning. Yeah, I am aware of that. I'm just learning to make some videos here. And I have said before that I am very good and I can be a very wild speaker in a really good conversation with some Christians and some people that I know, which I know a little bit of everybody, and they can be very awesome people. So I don't consider myself, I'm not atheist enough to be an atheist, and I'm not Christian enough to be a Christian. In some cases, some of us are too embarrassed to tell other people that we were Christian. But yes, anyway, I know Jesus, and Jesus is not my problem. He's alright with me, you know, just like the Doobie Brothers song. Yeah, matter of fact, you know, I mean, people were just misusing his name. But anyway, on with the rest of the video. Anyway, I got this email, and they're claiming, oh, my video is too boring and a little bit too droning and all that, and they didn't listen to all the rest. But in saying that my video was that bad that they didn't even sit and listen to the rest of it, they managed to write a long, boring, droning email, which I, for the most part, sort of read it, most of it, but enough of the beginning of it. I didn't have to finish it because their email too was, hey, feeling is mutual. But anyway, they said enough to give me the idea. First, they were also bragging about their superior college education and defending speaking in tongues, and I imagine they probably defend that Benny Hinn bullshit too, that the falling down on the floor stuff too. So I read enough that this person here, no offense to all Christians, but this is one of the ones Alex Jones, I agree with Alex Jones about, was basically one of those neo-fascist slash Judeo-Christian neo-fascist type, you know, a Judeo-Christian neo-communist, neo-fascist stuff, Zionist type of stuff. And I'm not against Jews either. There's this Zionist hijacking of Jews. Even it says in their Bible, the people that says they are Jews but they are not. Some people are on the, I don't want to kill a bunch of people like Hitler, you know, and like just because they're Jewish, you know what I mean. In fact, I actually, people in my family, I read a little bit of everything Jewish stuff. I mean, Jewish music and all that. So I'm not anti-Jew, and I'm not anti-Christian. I'm not anti-atheist. There are some atheists that even I can't stand. There's a little bit of everybody that I like and hate, put it that way. But anyway, that's what this person pretty much is, you know. And I guess their YouTube name was something like Behind the Cross, Beside the Cross, or some kind of thing like that. I don't want to misquote it because I kind of forgot their name. There's some people that have a similar name on YouTube on that order, titled their cells in that order. And there were some pretty good ones, but I deleted the email. I didn't mean to. I thought I was supposed to have cut and pasted the email and read it to you guys in their name, but the hell with it. I don't really need to read that to you anyway. A lot of you guys know the character of these kind of people, so this video can still stand. But yeah, they bragged about their college education. Oh, and they used like really fancy these kind of people, you will use these really fancy words, and I myself will use those fancy words in my vocabulary. Some of them that I define, I know what they mean, but if I do, I make sure I follow up in the same instance with a simplified version of that, because a lot of people use those very long words to appear articulate, and they really are not. I would rather stick with the simpler words and prove to people that I don't just use big words as I'm trying to define what I'm saying, even though I yammer on and on and on and on and on and get off the subject. That happens sometimes. Yeah, my voice is kind of droning, but yeah, anyway, yeah, that's what I pretty much wanted to say there too. I'm kind of like a little bit of trying to hold back a little bit of laughter in this one too, because I still think about some of this and laugh, but I wish I had the email for you, you know what I mean? But they know who they are, and I'm going to make sure that this video gets kind of a similar title. And yeah, I can agree partially that some of my videos may be a little droning, but if you do say some of my videos are a little bit droning and boring, that may be true, but there's still a lot of propagandists out there also that have that nice soothing voice that they're ready to pull people in, whether they are good people or bad people. I'm not saying just because you have the good soothing voice like everybody wants to hear that you're a bad person either, but they do. And a lot of good people are very boring. Well, hell, even in the Bible, in their Bible, it actually says that Moses was not a good talker. Actually, Moses may have actually been kind of like me, droning and boring. That's probably why he needed Aaron to do the talking for him. So there's probably a lot of Moseses that need their, maybe need an Aaron next to him, but not doing all their talking for him. But whatever way you want to look at it, huh? But and another thing there too, a lot of good people can have a boring, droning voice and not communicate their things very well and get an unfair advantage. But this person who sent me this email too would be very glad to point out their college education and maybe downplay the droningness or emphasize and capitalize on the said droningness of my videos. And maybe because they engage in a pack mentality and they hang around with a pack mentality that has the education like they do. And I'm not knocking education either. If there wasn't a small bit of, you hate to admit it, but if there wasn't some small bit of government force, you know, a lot of us as kids, we didn't want to go to school. A lot of us, and even some of you guys watching, come on, none of you guys really wanted to go to school as a kid. Some of you had friends there, but you didn't want to go all the time. But if you didn't, and we wouldn't be able to talk, none of us would be able to talk like we do now. Like, and when you really get me started, you know, I can really go. But the reason for my droningness in my videos was I was basically very shitty in my videos, still getting better. And by the time I decide what I want to say, you know, I mean, too. And it's just about looking at myself in this camera, too. But when you get me started in the world, out in the world, once you get me started, look out. I ran into very good Christians that I liked a lot. Man, and I can talk a person nearly to death and not be droning. People of all races here that some like me and some don't, but hey, one thing on this YouTube thing, one video is a fraction of what a person really is. You can You can take one video, and some people can judge just before one video. You know, you don't even know all their views yet, but some of these people, you know, they want to hide behind their fancy education. Like I said too, another thing I want to mention too before I go too long in this video, it's already 10 minutes too. A person with this attitude decided to trash me like that is one of them people, a classic example of one of them kinds I wanted to do videos on. I'm not saying all these kinds of people that I'm about to mention are all Christian and they're bad people either, but there's the Christian side of that personality and the non-Christian, for whatever reason, sides of that both sides, anyway, both kinds, whether it's Christian or any other side, that flaunts their college education and plus also live on credit too, and everybody else's scum attitude, whether the Christian or non-Christian side of it. They have another thing that they like to do too. They think they have the right to. They have some, whether it's a God-given right to make as many babies as possible and raise them and teach them their fascist ways, and teach them that they have the right to all the good-paying jobs first. You know what I mean? And even the ones that even the jobs that don't require a high college education, put all their people in first. Job preference for all them. Make more babies, as many as possible, and teach their women too that they could be career oriented in a way, but they'd rather have most of them, you know, make as many babies as possible. And then everybody else just gets what's left, and hey, they don't care you. They have you thrown in jail, you're scum. And in so many cases, their arrogance, the character of a person that would write me such an email, while they're at it, block you from making a living in the first place. You know, they want room for that mentality of the person that would write such an email. What they're called an elitist, you know, and even Alex Jones and whoever else you listen to talks about him. Just it's not knocking Christianity. There's a type of organized, highly funded religion, and the non-religious side of it too. Basically, it's a form of discreet neo-Nazism too. It's not always against race. It's a type of eugenics, a type of social hygiene. You know, they want to get rid of everybody. Maybe people would get rid of everybody with a few tattoos, and maybe their hair is a little too long, or any kind of ideals. Block them from making a living, make as many babies, give them their people preference for all the good paying jobs. In some cases even engineer the destruction of whatever jobs in other parts of the country, you know, undermine them, you know, so there ain't no jobs, and destroy them too, you know, I mean, if they get a chance. You know, maybe get them audited or shut down, or hell, because they got political power too, or buy them up, you know, some kind of way, you know, just engineer that kind of economic thing. It's the same way people can put economic sanctions against whole countries, and some of them that, you know, to keep them from acquiring nuclear weapons and all that side too. But these people want to put sanctions against you for what you believe or what you don't participate in, and legitimize it, you know, and you get thrown in jail. Oh, they'll gladly have you thrown in jail just for your beliefs, if they can get away with it, you know what I mean, too. If they can overthrow the system of things that involve us fighting for our own human rights, you know what I mean. That's about the way that is. Yeah, once they get away with it, they'll just twist the system to their advantage. But anyway, that's my time. Alright, see yous guys, end this video.